So here we are in Photoshop, and we're going to just do the mouths and prep this for the material ID for the PSA character. So here's my character, and I've scanned this image from my mouth chart and scanned it at 600 dpi. This is important because we need it to be as high quality as we can, because in this case, using Photoshop and bring it into 3ds Max, that it is dots per inch. So here, this 600 resolution DPI, pixels to inch. If I take a look at the width and height here of the overall sheet, let's see, pixels, so it's 7,000 by 5,000 approximately. But now we're going to be drawing just this very small part of the mouth here. So we got to make sure that the quality's there and is going to match the vector line of the line tool in 3ds Max. So if you don't have the ability to scan at 600 dpi, you have to draw out the mouth bigger. Okay, so this just lets us get away with doing the size of 8.5 by 11. Okay, and I'll demonstrate more on that as we go. So what we need to do is what we're going to be doing here. Let me just see. I'm going to get the marquee tool, and let me start with an interesting mouth. I'll go around here. So I'm going to kind of get an idea of how much of this is going to represent. This marquee is going to represent the plane that I have to create to fit my mouths on. So if I look at this, look at the height and width, it's like 1 inch, 1.1 inch. So it's pretty small. So I got to make sure the resolution's up for that. So here we go. So I know that this is the area I want to draw in. So I got to set up another file here that I can copy and paste into to start registering all the mouths and have them all line up, but they're of a decent resolution. So what I'm going to do is open up a new file, and here, see, 600 dpi pixels. This is good. So I want to take a look at inches, and I saw that it was about 1.1, and this is already kind of there. 1. Oh, already got one there. 1.1, 1.1. We'll see how that ends up to create a new image here. Now, let me see. I'm just going to switch. Oh, well, let's see what happens. There we go. So this is going to be quite small because it is just picking up. Oh, already got that one. Here we go. That was a sample that I practicing before. So here we go. I've got this. So what I'm going to do is Control C to copy, come over to this image and Control V to paste. There we go. So that looks pretty good. So I want to, yeah, that's kind of quite good. Yeah, that's perfect. So this is one I'm going to be drawing from. So this is going to be my master file where I'm going to be doing all my drawing to clean up the mouths here. So let me, at this point, I need to zoom in. I want to get this, let's go to full screen, and then I'm going to get it even closer. There we go, that's not too bad. Maybe I can go just a little bit more. And now I'm going to be using my pen tool to start drawing the line work on here. But before I do that, so here's just my, so we're going to be working in layers here. So here's my document, which is the 1.1 square. Yours can be different depending on how big the mouth is and how you need to set it up. So here's this image I brought in. So I've got to add a new layer, layer 2, to which I'm going to draw over top of. So I'm going to get into one. Don't know why. Oh, here we go. Color swatches and everything all hidden down here. So I've got a bunch of color swatches here, so I'm going to select just the black. Actually, I'm not even going to do black because if we recall, my character that I've done color here, and let me zoom in. Let me see, 100%. I want to match the colors here so that this is all going to match. And then when I build my character, I'm going to build my character to these exact colors. Let me just zoom in a bit more. There we go. So I'm going to be building my character with color outlines and not the black. And you can be using color, you can be using black, whatever you like. And your character, whatever thickness and such. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this little sample tool to pick out that brown color, which is my outline. Okay. And now I'm going to go in here. And now that I've got that color here, I'm going to go into my pencil tool and I'm going to double check what my pixel size is for my pencil. 17 pixels, so that's not bad. So I know that I've got pretty good quality. If you're going and tracing over your mouse and such, it's 3, 4, 5 pixels, it's going to be awfully tiny, and I'm not sure if that quality is going to be good enough. So 17, could be even higher, would be nice. But let's work with what we have here right now. So there we go. I'm going to... So I know a number of you use tablet quite often. Some of you may have not used it at all. So you're going to need practice going over this. Myself, I have a Cintiq with a draw on screen. So when it comes to drawing lines and such, I find that much easier or much better. And again, we're using Photoshop. So yeah, it's not going to fix lines for me. I've just got to be able to draw well. So this is building our skill by being able to trace over accurately. So here I'm just going between the line tool and the eraser. And let me see, I'm going to... See, my character is a little different because he's got the jowls and such. So that is going to create a different way, or I've got to do more of the mouth and color. So here I'm going to bring this line from the upper lip. Yeah, I didn't do that very well, so look, I can just go back and do step backwards. And again, I haven't got this screen on my lap, which would make life much easier and accurate. And let me just see, I'm going to be redrawing this here too. Because when I build my character, I'm not going to have these lines on there. I'm going to depend on my Material ID mouse to complete the face of the character. So with the jowls and the bottom chin and the upper lip here, I'm going to be doing all in Photoshop and mapping that onto my character. Okay, so there's the one mouth shape. So I've traced it off. Now what I have to do is color it. So I am going to be adding yet another layer. So, okay, I'm going to bring this layer, drag it down underneath my drawing, and then I can start using the colors. So I am going to use white for the teeth. So you can see that it's working because the drawing underneath disappears. So that's good. So I got to make sure I'm filling that all in, but we can double check that. Now what I want to do is come out with colors for the tongue and the inside of the mouth. So I'm going to pick a pink color here for the tongue. And again, I don't want it to match the flesh tone in my case, so I'll double check that when I go to color sample for the flesh of the upper lip and the chin. And now I want a color for inside the mouth. Let's see. Yeah. And, you know, I might want to go with a darker color. And if that's the case, I can use the bucket tool to hit the color that I've already got there. Let me see. Can I go even darker? There we go. That pops that out nice. Now, I want to go back to my color here so that I can sample the flesh tone that I'm using for this character. And let me go in here. So I'm gonna, it's different from the tongue color, not by much. So here I'm gonna bring this up. Now again, mine's probably gonna be different than yours, in which I've gotta draw. Actually, I'm gonna leave that alone. And I'm going to use the bucket tool, because if I've drawn an outline, I can use the bucket tool to fill in that spot. And let me do the same down here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to draw around here. Make sure I don't go onto the other side of the brown line there. And again, I'm using brown. You can be using black or whatever color you want the outline to be. Okay, there we go. So let me just zoom out a little bit. Okay, I zoomed in, zoom out, and zoom out, so I can see what we've got here. Now, the nice thing about this, I can turn off the drawing in behind. So now I can see where I've got some issues here that I got to fix things up. I'm going to use the smudge tool here, which I'm just going to push that color. Wherever it's not lining up, I'm going to push that out to the edge. So not bad. I think it's okay. You know, I'm going to highlight the outline and maybe fix the outline a little bit. So I'm going to use maybe a little bit of the eraser here, and I'm going to get the line tool. So we want to make sure we don't get our levels mixed up where we're working on the line. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and label these before we go much further, so that I can keep track of where I am, because that's going to get more complicated as we get into the other mouths. And I should label these the same name as the sounds that I've assigned to these mouth shapes. Now, before I label these, one thing I should be doing, now that I've got the color and the outline here in the layers over in this section, I got layer 3, layer 2. So what I want to do is I want to combine these and then label what mouth this is. And this mouth will be complete and done. So got to make sure that you're happy with this and finished before you combine them. So I'm going to hit Control and select both these layers. Layer 3 and 2, which is all this mouth, the color and the outline. And I'm going to go up here into this very top right here, select this. And if I go down, it'll say Merge Layers. Okay, so if I do that, this is all one image now. So this one, if I double click on that, this sound is the L and the TH sound. So there's L and TH. So I know I got that mouth done. Okay, and it's lining up to this drawing. So we'll see if I need that one. Actually, what I might do is keep that and I can hide the levels. So when I bring in the next mouth here, I can line it up to this one. But if I make sure that my marquee tool is right at the edge of the nose here, keeping this jowl in and lining up, it should line up itself, because what's really important here is that these mouths line up. And I usually use the top of the teeth as a constant. So whenever the lip goes up or down or whatever and exposes the teeth, I'm trying to keep them in the exact same position. So it's, you got to have these mouths all registered, because when we export them as a PNG and we go to map them onto the plane, as we switch the numbers and bring the new mouth in, it's great when they just line up and you don't have to shift and move it for every frame for the new mouth that you're using. So that really helps the production. process and not take a whole bunch of time here. And that's what was done with the hot character. He was all, all those mouths were registered so the upper teeth all line up and all fits in. Okay, so what we want to do is go back to our mouse here. So you can see I have our marquee tool here. So what I want to do is shift this over to another face. So I'm going to go down here with the F and V's here and use that one. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Let me go back. So yeah, let me see. Okay. No, it's not going to let me do that. It did last time. There we go. Maybe the marquee tool. There we go. Now we can move it. So there's something there to go back to the marquee tool so we can just move the marquee and not the select tool, because you see it cuts it out. So here I can move that and line it up in the same position. So we knew that I'm kind of at the top of the nose with that nose next to this edge, so that if I can keep that consistent, all this will fall into place. So now I can do the Control C for copy, go back into here and do paste, and that gives me another layer, which I'm going to bring up here. Am I going to bring it up there? Yeah, let's take a look. If I turn this off, it's not lining up too well. So what I can do here is with this one, the new one I just brought in, I can go up here to opacity. See, it's 100%. I can drop that to about 50 and it shows through. Look at that. So now with that, I can get rid of the marquee tool here now. Okay, it's not letting me get rid of it. Let me deselect. Oh, it's gone. Okay. Now I can line this one up so that it's working a bit better. You can see where I didn't line things up too well in the first place in my mouth chart. So I've got to compensate for that now. So here you can almost see that I have the front teeth kind of in the same position. So let me put the opacity back up. There we go. And now if I turn that off and on, we can see, yeah, that works. That kind of animates. You can see it kind of jump around a bit, but it'll be all right. Uh-oh, what happened there? Oh, I selected the wrong. I shut it off completely. All right, so what I need to do is same process. I'm going to select a new layer. Okay, and that's over top. So now I can draw over top of this just like I did the other one. So you just got to make sure you're keeping track of your layers and how you're drawing over top. So this one I'm going to get back into. So I've got that brown color already selected here. I'm going to go into here and I'm going to start tracing over this. Maybe I'll get a little better at this as I go. Yeah, see, usually I take my Cintiq and put it on my lap, but for the microphone and everything else I'm doing here, I'm just kind of get in an awkward position. So I'm trying my best with my hand not quite in the right position to do a nice easy job of it. But anyway, not too bad. Another thing is making sure that when you're drawing your line that you're matching the outline thickness of what you've drawn, and you're going to maintain that when we're building the character in 3ds Max with the line tool, that we're using a similar thickness to this. Because you'll notice the sample one I did with Stretch with the Material ID mouse, those mouths, yeah, it didn't work the greatest because they didn't really match the thickness of the rest of the character. So it was a bit too light. So that's something to watch out for. Anyway, there we go. So I'm happy with that for what we're doing here. And now again, I gotta get a new layer. Press OK. I'm going to put that layer underneath what I've just traced so that I can color underneath. And I'm going to need the flesh tone, which I think is this one. Let me just double check with my color. There we go. I can always check with the sample tool there. Yeah, so it was the right color, so that's cool. And I can draw that. So again, you don't necessarily have to be doing all of the flesh color and everything here. It's only because of the way I've made mine overcomplicated. So I'm always recommending keep it simple. I didn't take my own advice. So yeah, but if you want to challenge yourself, that's good too. So I've challenged myself for a more complex method of doing the mouths. So it's not just the mouth. I'm doing the upper lip and the chin because they move around. But you don't necessarily have to do that. And let me see. So I've got the... Now there's a bit of a challenge. I've got that pretty close up here, which I'm hoping the nose is going to cover over any possible seam that might happen there. And bring that around. Use my bucket tool again, and now I got to go to white and finish this off, and making sure that I've got it all colored in and nothing that's transparent, or yeah, it'll be the flesh color of the head that I do in 3ds Max that's going to show through. So I can double check that by getting rid of the drawing underneath here so we can see how that looks. So we can always go back in and do any tweaks and things. The color looks all right, but I can go back into my line and just tweak that up a bit. There we go. Yeah, that's nice. So I'm good with that one. So same deal. Now this is the F and V sound mouth where the top teeth are clinching into the bottom lip. So I am going to grab these two layers. I am going to merge them together. There we go, merge layers. And then I'm going to label this, what this is. So it is F and V shape that's there. So that's just keeping me organized, that I know where I'm going. So you can see I got a couple here. And here we can check it out. So, oh, no, hang on. There, so we can see that's how it's going to work when it goes from one shape to the next. So, yeah, it's okay. It'll work. So that's how it's going to animate from one mouth shape to the next. Anyway, so it's the same process all the way through. So you stack all these up, and these drawings, you can save them but hide them by not having them visible here. And we can label those too as to what shape or what they're labeled as, but maybe not, because I think I haven't tried if, let's just see what happens here. If this one here, if I label that F and V, what happens? Oh, okay, so I can have two layers the same name. Just curious about that. See if that would confuse it or not, but no, that works. So we can keep that organized, and then this one here was the L TH. Okay, so anything to help make life easier and keep things organized, this is good. So you can keep making these mouths until you get them all stacked up, you got them all in, trace them all off, color them, and then you're ready to export. So when we export, now let's take a look at that, and then we'll wrap this one up. Let me see, we go to export now. Here's the one here. We want to make sure we're maintaining the transparency background. And here, what we're going to do, if we're going to export these, so we've got to make sure that the only thing showing So you got to turn off everything so we can see the transparency. So that's important. And then select the one that we're going to export, and you'll have to do that. Turn this one off and do to the next one. So this is the whole process that we have to do to do the final export. Go under File. We're going to export, but we want to make sure we get a PNG. Now, what I've always used is Save for Web. It has quick export for PNG, but I don't know if I trust that one. Let's see, Save for Web. That's the one I've always done to make sure that it works. And here we are. And we gotta switch this to PNG. Uh-oh, is it 24 or 8? I'm gonna try 24. That looks good. Bingo. Looking great. So, oh, sorry, keep that. So this is exactly what we're saving and what will end up into our material editor and map onto the plane on the mouth. So we're all good with that. Okay, so we hit save and find where we want to save it to. And again, I recommend that you create a folder for your PSA character mouths and open that up, and we can save the one. So what you'd have to do here, though, is you got to remember which one we had. Which one are we saving? And yeah, you know what? I can't remember which one I'm saving. So I'll give it a shot here. If I get it wrong, we'll have to go back and fix that, because we want the labeling is going to be really important. Yeah, and this won't let me. Anyway, let's see. VTH. Let me see. There we go. And hit save. And I got the wrong one. I labeled it wrong. Oh no, it was LTH. So I think I got it right. Yeah, and it was F and V. So again, just keeping yourself organized is going to save yeah, a lot of grief here later on. So let me just see. I'm going to open. I want to find the one that I just created. Let me see. Can I find my? There we go. Here's that one. Oh, it's VTA. So that's I did get it messed up. So here it is. So we can see that I brought that PNG in, and it's got the transparency, so we're all good. So what I got to do is fix the name on that, because it is not VTH. It is the and L and TH. There we go. So let me fix that, and we're ready to roll. Okay, so let me close this, and oh man, we're gonna find it here. I don't know if your guys' desktops are as messy as mine, but that's me trying to keep lessons sorted out here. There we go. So L and TH. I don't know what that mark is. Very good. So hopefully we're all good there, and you can follow that through and render those out, and then you're all good for your character. Alrighty? Great.